Hi, Scott, Machine Gun Dad, and we're not going to talk about machine guns today. We're going to talk about, if you read the header, it's kind of stupid that I have to put a header on these because then it gives the surprise away. But basically how many I think pistol mags you should have for your guns. Okay, first of all, this is all dependent on your budget, of course. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. But there are also different kinds of pistols. Obviously, we're not going to talk about revolvers because you don't need any magazines for them unless you're dumb enough to have one like a 1917 45 like I do, and then you're stuck buying Half Moon magazines. But I digress. Basically, to me, there are pistols. I would call them four classes. First of all, this is a Mob 35A with the Dirty Bird. These, it's a collector pistol. I can't even get ammo for it. There's really no need to have more than one. Most people end up with two because the guns come with two. To go out and just keep buying the magazines for these when you're never going to shoot the gun, that this is a wall hanger. 1, 2 tops. Cool gun. I think I have 41 rounds for it. I might do a video on it, but absolutely no reason to have extra magazines unless you just like to spend huge amounts of money on magazines. All right, bottom of the barrel, 1 to 2. Next up are guns that you enjoy shooting. They're good guns. You could carry them if you wanted to, but they're not your primary. They're just something like, oh, I have it, I like shooting it, I want to go to the range. Do you really want to reload the same one magazine over and over again? No, you don't. So, now taking account I have a lot of guns, and I'm not bragging, I just have a lot of guns because I'm freaking old and they were cheap. What on the table falls into that category is my SIG 229mm. It's a good solid gun, a whole bunch of fun to shoot, but with a modem mag release and the fact that it's a single stack 9, not necessarily something I would want to carry. I could carry it, but I wouldn't really desire it. This wouldn't be my first choice. How many magazines should you have for this? I would say 5. That way, if you go to the range, you can load up enough magazines, you can cycle through the range, take a break, reload. You're not shooting, reloading, shooting, reloading, shooting, reloading. So you can actually enjoy the pleasure of shooting the gun. And wear and tear on the magazines is spread out over 5. I, however, I'll move my box out of the way, live in a different world where I have 10. And you say, oh, you're a snob, you have 10. No, actually I have 2 of these pistols, so I have 5 for each one. So, great pistol, not really a carry pistol, but you want to have magazines for it, so 5. Another pistol that I think everybody should have, but again it's not a carry pistol, is a practice pistol, a 22 pistol. This one's a SIG 226 with a 22 conversion kit. This has been on the channel a lot. Again, you're going to want to shoot this a lot. Do you want to shoot 10 rounds and then reload? No. Again, 5 magazines minimum for these MiGs. Unfortunately, for like the SIG conversion, the magazines are stupidly expensive. I have 6 magazines. 5. Now, let's get down to the reality. What for your carry gun? How many magazines is efficient? 229 and 357 SIG. How many magazines should you have for this? 10. Why 10? Most people that carry them usually have 3 magazines loaded. You want to have enough magazines to rotate out your magazines and keep your 3 magazines loaded. Most people say, well, 6 will do it. That's true, but you're putting more wear and tear on your magazines by keeping them loaded. So spread the wear out over more magazines. Also, for this, you have a better chance of damaging magazines because you're carrying them all the time. So I would go with 10. So the magic number for these is 10. Now, unless you're like me, I also have a 9mm conversion kit for this. So instead of laying them out on the table, that's how many magazines I have for my SIG 22 9s. Now, taking account I do have 2 of them, but I probably have 50 magazines for them. Now, this isn't really to show off. This is to show you something that you should think about. You're walking around at a gun show. You got, 50, 70, 80 bucks in your pocket, which is usually all I got left at a gun show. I wish I was going with thousands. I go with 80 to 100 bucks. And you see you've got a SIG 229, and you see a used SIG 229 magazine on the table for $20. Buy it. And every time you go to a show, if you see another one, buy it. You end up with a pile like this. That's how I got all these. And you'll end up with spare magazines for your carry gun. Of course, you would do that with any gun. I mean, I would love to be able to go to a show and find a Type 14 magazine for my Japanese Type 14 for $20, but I doubt I'll do that. The point is, if you're old like me, when magazines weren't expensive, this was considered a wearable part. You would just buy extras. And having lived through a magazine ban, which a lot of you may not remember, in the 90s when a freaking Betamax was $600, and this any magazine over 10 rounds was 4 or 5 times what it is now. Buy the magazines when they're cheap. Buy the magazines when they're available. Just my opinion. Again, just like I said before, opinions are like a-holes. Everybody's got one, but that's based on my experience of being in the gun collecting business, whatever you want to say. I actually doing this for over 40 years. Again, thanks for coming to my channel.